Hi YouTube. We're continuing the build on this Century Arms Wasr 10 rifle. This is actually going to be a Century Arms Wasr 1063. Now the issue that we're going to be addressing is going to be the problem that many people have with the bolt carrier sticking on these rifles. My 1063 here doesn't have the problem that's associated with these rifles, but the Model 10 does. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through a process of elimination with you and show you how to address these problems and how to what to look for and how to fix them if need be. So without any further ado, we're going to take a look at the rifle here. See if I can get that in frame. See if it shows up good. There we go. What I've done here is I've actually started out taking the rifle apart. I actually went through and took the hammer and the trigger assembly apart, took it all out and everything, and cleaned went ahead and disassembled the inside of the receiver. The reason I wanted to do this is it gives me the opportunity to take a light and look over the frame rails. You want to look at the guides and make sure that none of those are bent. Now, I know this particular rifle is not going to have an issue, but you want to look over and make sure that this guide here or this track here is straight. You want to make sure that this one's straight. You want to make sure that these lips here are actually straight. Then you're going to look at your carrier assembly, and you're going to look it over and make sure that there's no burrs to hang up on. You're going to look at this and make sure that that's nice and straight. This thing doesn't have any issues. So what we're going to do is the very first thing you're going to do is you've already taken the gas tube off, and you're going to slide this in. Now, this bolt carrier is with the receiver stripped and the bolt carrier taken apart and the gas tube. There's nothing that's going to cause any interference. So what you're going to do is you're going to slide this bolt carrier back and forth and feel for any resistance. You want to look in your piston assembly up here. You'll see your gas piston up here. You want to make sure that there's nothing to cause any hang-ups in there, and you want to make sure that there's nothing to cause any hang-ups in the receiver itself. Hypothetically, let's say that you get to this point here and you feel this thing is hanging up right in here. Again, you want to check and make sure that the guides are not bent. You want to make sure the receiver is not bent. After you determine that that's not the issue, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and pull the carrier out, and you're going to apply a little bit of valve grinding compound in there in areas that you suspect is causing the problem. And what you're going to do is you're going to slide that thing back and forth ever so slightly just to free up any burrs. You're going to run your fingers down in here. What you're doing is feeling for burrs that could cause it to hang up. Now, once you're sure that that is no longer an issue, go ahead and put your gas tube back in, lock it in, and then go ahead and drop your bolt carrier back in and check it again. See if you make sure that that's nice and smooth. You can see that that thing moves very smoothly. Another place that you could possibly have it to hang up is you could have burrs down inside this hole where the spring rides. You can take a flashlight, look down inside there, and make sure that that's nice and smooth and nothing that's going to be hanging up. You want to look at your spring to make sure that your spring assembly doesn't have any burrs, anything that's protruding that could cause it to hang up. Once you've accomplished that, go ahead and drop your bolt carrier in. Now you know from this point in the game that it's nice and smooth. Go ahead and put your spring assembly in, and you go ahead and pull that back, and you can see just how smooth that is. There's nothing hanging that up. Okay, so you know that this part of the rifle isn't going to be the problem. So the very next thing you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and put the internals back in. I want to mention this. On these bolt carriers, one of the things that one of the places that they can actually hang up is where the bolt carrier rides across the hammer and resets the hammer. You can polish this area right here up with some polishing compound or maybe a Dremel tool, but you can see that there's kind of a little angle right there and a little angle there. Make sure that you don't round those angles off. Also on the face of the hammer, you can smooth that up a little bit as well. Now, I'm not going to do that on this particular rifle rifle at this time because I'm going to go through it in a later video and polish the bolt carrier, and I'll do it at that time. But if you polish that and polish the bolt carrier, then you can also alleviate a little bit of hang up whenever the bolt carrier comes back and resets the trigger or resets the hammer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this hammer back in. See if that gets in the video there. These things are kind of cantankerous sometimes, and they can be kind of a pain in the butt, but you get them sideways, just like that. Go ahead and get your pen ready. Just like so. Then once you do that, go ahead and get your trusty little tool up here so you can get these springs out of the way. And you're going to drop your trigger assembly down inside there. And then you're going to pull your springs over the edge of your trigger assembly. Okay, like that. Put your pin back in. Kind of rhymes, doesn't it? Okay, then you're going to take and put your keeper back in. This is your pin retainer and keeper assembly. I want to make sure that that is definitely seated in, and it is. And you're going to take your safety lever. You're going to slide your safety lever back down in there. Lock it in. Pull your trigger so that you can slide your safety lever back down. Reset your trigger. Okay, now that you've got all your internals back in your rifle, you can go ahead and drop your bolt carrier, drop your bolt assembly back in there, and you're going to take and drop your carrier back into the rifle, and you're going to check it again for ease of movement. Now, you can see that it seems to hang up right there a little bit, but where it's hanging up is it's on the spring-loaded hammer. It's having to depress that hammer, and that's why it seems to be hanging up. But you put your spring assembly back in there, and there you go, just like that. If you look these rifles over before you purchase them, sometimes you can find these rifles that do have hanging bolts up. You can find them that's got canted sights. You can find them that's got mag wobble. Every one of these issues are actually a great bargaining chip. Let's say you go to a gun show and you pull back that bolt assembly and it hangs up and you really have to work it to get it forward. You can use that as a bargaining chip and say, hey, look, that rifle is not worth $400. I'll give you $350 for it. They might actually bite at that. If you throw that rifle up and you've got a canted sight on the front of it, and I'm going to go into another video with canted sights and how to fix those, but if you've got a canted sight, you can tell them, say, hey, look, you know, this thing's got a canted sight. I've got to pay to have that thing fixed. You might be able to get the rifle real cheap if you know what to look for and know how to address it. Hope this is helpful. Hope it was a good video for you. Thank you for watching. Good luck and happy building. Thank you.